is half the battle. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bill and Frank Eat Pop Culture. I am Frank, and with me, as always, is Bill. How you doing, Bill?
I am doing well. I'm here. I have had some cocktails tonight, so God only knows what's going to happen on this podcast.
Oh, my God. Are we still wearing pants?
Yes, I am wearing pants, but no underwear.
Uh-oh. I like how excited you were that you were still wearing pants.
Yep.
Like you were impressed with yourself.
I'm wearing black shorts with no underwear and a Yoda t-shirt. So for all the ladies out there that are listening to this podcast, you're welcome.
So that also means that there's no hiding any erections.
Oh, no. Not at all. Not at all. The good thing is there's absolutely no one here to see them except my dog.
Okay. So, Bill, over the last few weeks, Bill and Frank Eat Pop Culture is spreading across the globe like AIDS.
Is using the phrase global phenomenon too much? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, we're at the point now where we're in somewhere around 15 or 16 different countries.
That can't be possible. Surely you jest.
I not. Okay. Now, I thought it'd be fun today and respectful to our global neighbors.
Okay.
If we took a tour around the world, if you would, and offer a kind hello to the members of our audience in their native tongues across the world.
Wow. Okay. Well, first of all, how are we doing in the good old US of A?
Yeah. So the US of A, we are currently, as of today, in 33 of 50 states.
Okay. I don't think you have it on you right now. For next week, why don't we see if we can figure out which 17 states are being assholes?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. So we'll mark that down for a segment for next week. Asshole states. Correct. So let's start with America. I mean, we know we say hi in America, but there's a million different ways people say hello in America. Bill, what's your favorite way to say hello in America?
Favorite, I don't know. Favorite is tough. I don't really have a favorite, but I relocated from the great Northeast, where you are, to the South just about 3 years ago. And I've had to get very used to the howdy y'all, which happens all the time down here. So that's what I'm going to go with. I haven't quite gotten to the point where I've incorporated y'all into my vernacular, but I feel like it's coming. I said dang like 2 days ago and was immediately full of shame, but I don't think there's any halting this progress at this point.
No, you're a good old Southern boy now.
Trump country, baby.
So my favorite way to say hello in the U.S., being that I'm from Philadelphia, is how you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Yo, how you doing?
Or this one's for my stepbrother Alex. Have a good one.
Good one. Yo, what are you guys up to?
Yo, what are you doing over there? What's that guy? So, now if you're in Hawaii, you would say aloha.
Double meaning.
Yes, that's right. So we have a couple listeners in Hawaii, so aloha to them.
Wow. We're in Hawaii, but I bet we're like somehow not in like New York or something like that.
No, we're in New York.
Are we in the Dakotas?
No.
It's a tough market to crack.
It is. The podcast devices per capita is not very favorable.
Yeah. I don't think they have Wi-Fi yet.
They're working on it, though.
Yeah, they're working on it. They have Mount Rushmore. That's all they really need. And Deadwood.
Oh, is that where Deadwood was?
South Dakota, on the South Dakota-Wyoming border. I was actually, a little aside here, a little anecdote. I was just talking to the one and only Spider-Man guru, Johnny Beaver, about someday doing a road trip to Deadwood, South Dakota, because he and I are enormous fans of the HBO show of the same name. And the hotel that Seth Bullock, the main character of Deadwood, opens in the show is an actual hotel because he was an actual person, and it's still in operation. Little fact and fiction for all you people from Bill's Almanac.
Factoids.
Right, have fun with that. Yeah, factoids. Anyway, sorry, I digress.
Mazzola facts.
Mass facts.
All right, so next on the list is our good friends over in the UK.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello. Cheerio, chaps.
Hello.
I feel like they're gonna love that.
Then we go to Canada, Bill.
Uh-oh. How do you? What's hello?
Well, you got it. Well, it depends, right? So we're in multiple provinces in Canada. So sometimes you're just going to say hello, eh?
Hello, eh?
And probably it'd be like hello, eh? Sorry.
Because they're very polite. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Just quickly apologize. Quebec, you would bonjour.
Oh, bonjour. Are we also in France?
We are also in France.
So we just nailed that too.
Yeah. So we just knocked out Quebec and France in the same. Bonjour.
Bonjour. I bet they hate us. I bet they hate listen.
Who, the Canadians?
The French.
Oh, the French Canadians or the French?
Both.
This next one blows my mind. Greece.
Greece. I have no idea how to say anything in Greek.
Home of Greco-Roman wrestling.
Of course. Birthplace of the Olympics. The Olympiad.
That's right. That's right, Bill. In in Greece, we would say Yassas.
Wait, is that real?
I think so.
Yassas.
Yassas.
Yassas. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah. Next on the list, Italy. Do you know how to say
Isn't Italy? Isn't both hello and goodbye ciao in Italy?
ciao?
Ciao, Bella.
Germany is, Germany.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
I'm super smart.
Okay, here's one you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
This is how Rusev would say hello.
Rusev Udria, Rusev Machka.
What? Bulgaria?
Yeah.
We have more than one listener in Bulgaria. Is just one.
I think we have a list. It might be Rusev.
Maybe it's. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe it's Rusev. Maybe it's Lana. She's not really Bulgarian.
No, she went to Florida State.
Yeah.
In Bulgaria, to our Bulgarian friends, we say Zdrasti.
And we wouldn't be saying Zdrasti to our Bulgarian friends. We'd be saying it to our Bulgarian friend. Just one.
That's right. That's right.
He probably feels pretty special.
Right now, he is.
Yeah, he's
life.
really getting a shout out.
Oh, this is an easy one. Australia.
Isn't it just hello?
Well, isn't it? Good day.
Oh, good day. Yeah, good day, mate. Good day, mate.
Good day, mate. I like to imagine that listener is Chris Hemsworth.
Is one listener in Australia? I like to imagine it's Crocodile Dundee.
I think there's two.
It's Crocodile Dundee and Chris Hemsworth. They were in a commercial together, remember?
Both in completely different demographics.
Yeah. I love Crocodile Dundee. That movie was. I love that movie when I was a kid.
All right, Bill. Let's go back to the main continent here, Spain.
Hola,
Hola,
hola, hola, España.
hola, España.
That was an easy one. Do we got any other hard ones?
Yeah, we do. We have this next one's a hard one. Croatia.
Oh boy, I couldn't tell you. How do we have a Croat listener? That's amazing.
I know. I don't even know any Croat celebrities or anything.
I don't think I do either. There's got to be Croatian players in the NBA that I'm just not thinking of.
Wait a minute. Isn't Dario Croatian?
Dario Saric?
Yeah.
Super Dario?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he is actually.
Nice.
I don't even know what team he's on anymore. I miss Dario.
So this listener is obviously Dario Saric.
Obviously.
So
anyway, how do we say hello to him?
So to Dario we say Dobar dan.
Dobar dan. Excellent.
Next one we go to Singapore.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. How do we do that
well,
one?
So they're mainly Mandarin. So it's ni hao.
Ni hao.
Very good.
That reminds me of Wayne's World.
That was good. Sin dachi. Dachi.
Ni hao langa.
So ni hao.
Ni hao.
Then we go to South Africa. Ooh. Yes. Where we
have such reach.
I know it is. It's amazing. And the most spoken language in South Africa is Swahili.
Swahili. Awesome. Okay, so how do you say hello in Swahili?
Well, I'm going to butcher the shit out of this, but it's
okay.
Sabona.
Salboner? Hello is erection? Salboner.
Erection.
All right. Any more?
No, Salbona.
Salbona.
Yeah.
Salbona.
Then there's a Then there's just like a conglomerate of other, which I don't know of any countries.
I don't think there are any. I don't think there are any unidentified countries left.
That's how I said. I'm like other. So the only thing I could think of is they're either Klingon
Oh, of course.
or Elven.
Yeah. Oh God.
Both of which I think your father are fluent in.
My dad would definitely know how to say hello in Elvish for sure. I should actually know. I'm a little upset that I don't.
So we should by phone call him during the week, and next week we'll check back in with how we say hello in either.
Yeah, I do know that Bellot is friend. That's all I can remember.
That's something.
Yeah.
All right, Bill. So anyway, all joking aside, hello to everybody around the world listening to us across this beautiful country, the United States, and we're glad you're with us. Hope you stay with us. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, people of Earth.
So, with that, Bill,
Yeah.
let's start the show! All right, Bill, so this is not a wrestling podcast.
No, of course not. I don't know what would give anybody that idea. Maybe assholes like Matt Ryan who spread salacious rumors like that, but whatever.
I'm writing down salacious because I'm gonna Google that later to understand what it means.
Good. I got a 740 on my verbal on my SATs.
Salbona. So huge wrestling weekend.
Yeah, I kind of out of nowhere. I like as the weekend approached on Thursday, I started seeing tweets of like greatest wrestling weekend in forever, and I was like, really? But yeah, there was, arguably 3 major events.
Fight for the Fallen, AEW.
Yeah.
For me, chronologically on the weekend was the first one.
Me too.
I am not up to date on all my G1 stuff. You know, that's something else that went on this weekend. I had to cut something, so I cut my New Japan subscription because I do get Access Television. So they're pretty good at, you know, when they have a major event going on, playing things the very next week. So I'll catch up on what happened this weekend on Friday when they air their new episode. But so Fight for the Fallen was first for me, and you know, it's a weird thing, right? Because you've got these events. Now, this is the second one in a row that people keep referring to as pay-per-views.
Right.
Now, I don't want to be ignorant because I don't know if they're free in every country or if it's just in America. I think it was free in Canada as well. I know that. But they keep referring to them as pay-per-views, but they're not pay-per-views.
No.
I mean, these are free, I mean, glorified house shows.
Yeah, that is the exact impression. Like, I mean, I as we've made mention of, I worked at WWE for 12 years, and watching Fight for the Fallen reminded me of being at a WWE house show, and admittedly, a very good, you know, a high level house show, but still, I think we should call these things what they are with AEW. You know, I'm not talking about Double or Nothing, and obviously All Out will be a pay-per-view, but these special events that they've put on and made available free are house shows that they're giving to Bleacher Report and giving to audiences to build goodwill. They want fans to know who their roster is before the show airs in the fall, and this is a good way to do it, and also engender, you know, goodwill. People don't have to pay for it. They love that.
To me, you're getting something for nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beyond something for nothing. You don't even need to have a cable subscription.
Right. You need a Wi-Fi signal, essentially.
You need a Wi-Fi signal.
Yeah.
You could hack into your neighbor's Wi-Fi signal and watch this event.
As long as you have somewhere to download the Bleacher Report app, that's all you need.
Exactly. So,
but you know, and you know, I feel like I kind of just shit on it a little bit, calling it, but I mean that's pretty cool of them to do. Credit where credit.
No, it's totally it's awesome. It's awesome. And I appreciate it. and I value it because to me, it's like the more decent wrestling I can consume, the better. I mean, if I could, I would watch nothing but wrestling.
Yeah, and in their minds, when the show airs, whenever it airs, sometime in October, a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people are going to know who Joey Janela is and know who Kip Sabian is and know who SCU are that may not have had they not had something in between Double or Nothing and All Out. So, I mean, it makes sense.
Look what Fighter Fest did for Janela. I mean, right. Janela wasn't a guy that the mainstream knew.
Right.
Now going into the fall, everybody's going to know who Joey Janela is.
Exactly right.
So anyway, you put that together with, I got all caught up. You get all caught up in, there is a vibe about AEW. There's an energy, there's like this, it's this like new thing that's kind of underground, but it's not underground. And some people feel like it's theirs and it's about to become, known to the world. And, so it's just, there's all this energy, it's the David versus the Goliath, and it's there's just this energy about it, and it's gaining momentum, and everybody's excited, and it's easy to get caught up in that, and I think it's okay to, because this doesn't happen all the time. I mean, this is a great time to be a wrestling fan. So when I was watching it Saturday live, I was live tweeting it for the show, and just I don't know. There just seemed to be a lot of unnecessarily negative, just like dismissive comments that I thought were completely uncalled for. Now, I wasn't watching Evolve. I watched it the next day. I was very critical of Fight for the Fallen when I felt like it was appropriate. But there was just some people who were making these brash statements like everybody on Fight for the Fallen's mailing it in. This Evolve show is amazing and 5 stars and all this shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Neither statement, which I think was true. I got, I was getting into it with a couple people on Twitter, and I was getting a little defensive and stuff. And which annoys me when I get pulled into that trap, because I'm not a hater. Like, I'm not a WWE hater. I'm a hater of what they've been forcing me to eat the last couple of years. But I love the WWE. I have since I was a child, always will. And I just don't like it when Mark fans turn it into this, that shit simply because this other thing exists.
I understand what you're saying, but I think the AEW fans are guilty of the same thing. Quite a bit, actually. I also, one of my favorite tweets of the weekend is actually something I'm starting to become a little annoyed with AEW, is two things. First of all, I love it, and I can't wait for the show when it comes. I can't wait to see what they do with a weekly broadcast. That being said, I don't like, one, how they keep saying, we don't want to go to war. We're just an alternative. Like, drop it. Drop. You got to drop the illusion. You cannot come to the ring, take out a sledgehammer, blow apart a throne, and then say, oh, no, it's not. We're not taking shots. Like, it's bullshit. But what's even more aggravating is they got to stop with the scrappy underdog thing. Like, Cody in particular, who's one of my favorite people in the wrestling world ever. I love him. But he keeps doing this scrappy underdog, WWE is so much bigger than us. And I understand that WWE is bigger they have the global brand that they've built up for 50 years that AEW doesn't have. But in terms of money, in terms of how rich the companies are, Tony Khan could eat Vince McMahon for lunch. Like, he has a ton more money than Vince does. They're not like the Little Sisters of the Poor. So I think they got to stop with that. And then I also thought the way that Cody closed the show with like the weird telethon and talking about all the people that donated and how WWE is bad for counter programming a charity show was odd. It was an odd choice.
Yeah, it was that whole ending was just awkward and weird.
Yeah, especially then it came out like I was reading today that the Evolve show was planned before Fight for the Fallen. So like technically Fight for the Fallen counter programmed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. But if you think about it, it makes sense. You had a WWE pay per view in town. I mean, whatever.
Right.
So, I'm not going to get into all that.
Right.
Let's talk about the show. So, I've been very critical of the librarian gimmick.
It sucks.
Yeah, I still hate the gimmick, but I tell you, I don't hate Peter Avalon in the ring. And I thought Sonny Kiss put on a really great performance.
Yeah.
In his first singles, showing. And I mean, I think you got a potential star there. I mean, I see like a strong mid Carter in Sonny Kiss. And I think Peter Avalon could be a good in-ring heel. But the librarian gimmick is shit.
I agree with everything you just said.
So then the second match of the pre-show was the women's tag match. And this was a fucking disaster.
I agree. The women in general in AEW have been average is probably generous.
Well, I think the problem is you've got people like Britt Baker and Nyla and Kylie who can work.
Yeah.
But just the booking, the booking's been strange for that division. I mean,
strange. Even the work from good workers has been like, even Britt Baker.
Well, no, yeah. So let's get to that, right?
She made the hot tag to the wrong partner.
I was because here's the thing, like I'm watching that match and instantly, and I tweeted this, like Shoko, whoever the fuck Shoko is, Shoko can't throw a working punch or a working kick. It completely took me out of the match. I like whenever she had somebody in the corner and she was stomping them, it looked like she was like tickling them with her feet. It was like it was awful. And then Britt Baker with the hot tag to the wrong side, and like I don't know, she kind of just like didn't really do anything to recover from it. She just like ran back to the other side and made the tag. Like
weird. So weird.
Yeah,
I was like what just happened?
I don't know. I might have like faked a head injury or something and acted like I didn't know where I was. I don't know, but
where am
I? I mistaken one small Asian woman for another small Asian woman. I will say that I think Riho is fucking awesome. And I look forward to, seeing more of her. And, and that's the kind of stuff that makes me excited about AEW is like getting introduced to these new people like Riho.
Yeah, I agree. And my criticism of AEW all along, even Double or Nothing through Fyter Fest, through Fight for the Fallen now, it's a criticism, but it's not even their fault. Like, they don't have weekly television. So it's really difficult, aside from your main event angles, to tell any kind of coherent story. So a lot of these matches are like good work, or in the women's case, not that good work. But a lot of the lower card and mid card matches on the main show are good to above average work. But I just don't, there's no stakes. There's nothing, there's no intrigue. So it's hard for me to care that much. And then combine that with the fact that this seemed very much like a house show, kind of contributed to the overall. I thought it was pretty vanilla. Like the whole show was it was inoffensive, but not really. There was nothing on it that I was like, I'm going to remember this in 2 months.
Absolutely. the 3-man tag. Just a couple points, and I don't think there's much else to say. I thought Sammy Guevara came out of this from a work rate perspective looking golden. It blows my mind how MJF can literally do nothing yet still be so over.
Yeah, he's such a good old school heel. I love that guy.
And probably my favorite spot of the night, when I think back on this pay-per-view, this is what I'll always remember. Janela did some ridiculous move on the apron.
The fuck Jim
hit the ground and turned to the camera and put his middle finger up and said, "Fuck you, Cornette."
See, and that got like the people that were like, "What a dickhead," and then they were all tweeting Jim Cornette saying like, "Look, you're in his head, bro." It's like, dude, just accept it for like a fun, cool moment and stop being an asshole.
It was super fun and it was awesome.
Like,
and I love Joey Janela.
These people, some of the people really need to settle down. Cornette needs to settle down, to be honest, but that's another story.
Well, he's needed to settle down for like 30 years.
Yeah.
I can't believe that guy's heart hasn't just exploded.
I know.
Then, I thought the 3-way tag match was just a beautiful thing to watch. I'm excited whenever I hear tag team tournament, I get excited. So I'm excited about the tag team tournament at All Out. And the fact that like this was for an entry into that tournament.
Yeah, it provided some sort of meaning for that one.
Juice. Yeah. And I thought it was good. I thought all 3 tag teams looked great. I really like Angelico. I don't know why, if it's like just the way he dances to the ring. I don't know. I like him. And it's stupid, but I don't know. I like the way Sunny Kiss danced to the ring too. I was like, ooh. And then, then we get the Brandy's match, right?
Right.
And this was another installment in the women's division, and this was a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
And I posted this. I tweeted this. I was super nervous about this match because I like Brandy a lot, but she's very green in the ring, and she needs somebody to carry her and put her over.
Yeah. And Allie didn't do it.
Yeah, I don't know if like AEW didn't get what they thought they bought, but
she's been terrible.
I don't know anything about Allie Impact because I don't watch Impact, never have. But everybody online and wherever I read, reputable sources say how good she is. She has had 2 outings now, and everybody shit on Leva Bates, and I don't think Leva Bates did herself any favors. I don't know for the last match, but I mean, if you're a good wrestler, you could be in there with a piece of shit and put it over. She sucks. I mean, she does. I mean,
you suck, pal.
Yeah. And, I don't get it.
My favorite X-Pac promo of all time. Hey, Eric Bischoff, you suck, pal.
Yeah, so I liked Awesome Kong. I like Awesome Kong as like Brandy's enforcer. I think that could be fun.
Yeah, definitely could work.
And then they bring out Asia Kong.
A lot of Kongs. So many Kongs.
Yeah, well, as you say, so I got to give a shout out to this podcast I've been listening to, Talkamania, 2 Canadian dudes, and so on Twitter they're at _Talkamania. So as soon as Aja Kong came out, like they sent out this tweet and it was like, "Get him in there now," and it was a picture of Donkey Kong. And I popped so hard. It was my biggest pop of the night. So that was like that was one of the highlights of the night for me. That and Joey Janela saying "fuck you, Cornette." So thank you, Talkamania. But anyway, so I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Awesome Kong looked like she didn't really have much left at Double or Nothing. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get a couple good matches out of her with Aja Kong. If they can, it'll be fucking awesome.
Yeah, we'll see. She looked pretty stiff at Double or Nothing.
And other than that, man, I mean, I thought the Hangman Kip Sabian match was okay.
Yeah,
Um, I love Hangman, and I'm really fucking pissed because Pac really fucked things up.
yeah.
If it wasn't for him being a jerk off, we'd have a champion right now. We'd have a belt on these shows. And they just haven't recovered from that, and they don't know what to do with Hangman. Like, I don't know.
They're just trying to get him. They're just trying to get him to Jericho.
Yeah, but it's just it seems like it's been 6 years, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I like Kip Sabian. Well, actually, I don't know if I like Kip Sabian. He's dating Penelope Ford, so kind of makes me hate him.
Yeah, and I was supposed to date her after Janela.
Yeah, I guess she just didn't get the memo.
No, I didn't get the hello.
But I just don't think he's the guy you want to put in the ring with Hangman.
Does Kip Sabian have a listener in Croatia? No.
Yeah, no. The Kenny Shima match,
It's great.
Yeah, it's great. It's exactly what I thought you were going to get out of Kenny and Shima.
I'm not sure that Kenny Omega is capable of putting on a match that's less than 4 stars, like literally with anybody.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a good worker.
Yeah. I didn't care about that at all. Like, I knew it would be a high work rate match. I didn't care about it going into it, and he pulls me into every time I watch him. So, yeah. I mean, good for him.
And then I thought the Rhodes brothers versus the Bucks was fun. I thought it was decent. I thought it was fun. The Rhodes brothers are masters of psychology.
It was over 30 minutes. It was long.
Yeah, and the Bucks are not masters of psychology.
Right.
And I felt like the first half of the match, the Bucks were really following the Rhodes brothers because the psychology was there, and then the second half of the match turned into all the goofy shit the Bucks usually do. Yeah. A review of Fight for the Fallen, but I am very concerned. I don't know how digestible this product is going to be on a weekly basis. To the mainstream, to the American market. I mean, I don't know if the world is going to be able to stomach the Bucks every week.
Yeah, it'll be. I mean, it's going to be such an interesting thing when they start going week to week. Because I don't mean it's you assume that the executive VPs, the Bucks, Cody, Kenny, are going to be generally in charge of creative, and those guys, they have all the bases covered. Like, Cody's great at psychology, Kenny's great at everything. The Bucks can choreograph awesome spots, so they can hit all something for everybody. But whether they can string together long-term storylines and all that stuff, Jericho will of course be invaluable in this as well because he's got experience everywhere and he knows what he's doing. Everybody loves him, but everybody also hates him. And that's just the sign of a great heel.
Yeah, so that's one thing I wanted to bring up. So Jericho comes out and, comes out in a mask. Right away, it's him. Right. This is the other thing that started on Twitter that drove me fucking nuts. I was pissed.
That's the fat shaming?
Yeah, so they start body shaming Chris Jericho.
Whatever.
Yeah, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Really? A year ago, you guys were all sucking this guy's dick.
And should still be.
And you're going, hey, Jericho, maybe the crowd should be chanting, eat a salad. It's like, really? That blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. It was so toxic. It made me so angry that there's people out there that they just can't sit back and enjoy what's happening.
You can't can't sit back and just enjoy the fact that you're watching possibly one of the top 2 or 3 heels in the history of wrestling do his thing.
Yeah, and then he cuts a sick ass promo later in the show, like a promo that should be studied for how to cut a heel promo. Everybody in the back should have been taking notes. It was great. You saw his promo, right?
Yeah, and Chris Jericho. Anybody that has listened to this podcast or knows me, I mean, he's been my favorite sports entertainer, professional wrestler. He's my favorite of all time. I rank him above everybody. So, I mean, he's got a little bit of a belly on him. Well, he's fucking either wrestling or touring all the time. So, and the guy apparently likes a drink or two. So, whatever. If he can still pull off 5-star matches with the likes of Kenny Omega and Naito and all those guys, then who the fuck is anybody to body shame him?
So that was Fight for the Fallen. I mean, overall, underwhelming.
5 or 6 out of 10. Like, it wasn't. I didn't want to turn it off. Like a lot of WWE shows have made me want to do over the past couple of years. I never got to the point where I wanted to turn it off. There were a couple matches though that went for a while where I was starting to doze a little. So yeah, it didn't have the manic excitement of Double or Nothing, and it didn't have anything that was super memorable like Moxley and Janela from Fyter Fest, but it was still okay.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way to put it. Nothing more to add to that. Now Evolve, I really don't have much to say about it.
Me neither.
Based on the way everybody was talking on Twitter all night on Saturday, I thought I was going to watch it and my dick was just going to explode continuously. Yeah. I got to be honest, like the first half of the show, I was incredibly bored. Like I didn't know any of the wrestlers. I didn't know there was no stakes. There was no stories. I didn't understand really what was going on. The Shotzi Blackheart, Brandy Lauren, I think her name is, match was really, really good. Maybe one of the best matches of the weekend. I thought the Drew Gulak match was awesome. Drew Gulak and Riddle was fucking awesome. They just pulled me into it. Like there was no story, there was no stakes, but they just got in the ring and their expressions and the way they were going at it, and they just pulled me in.
Can we talk for a second about how fucking awesome Matt Riddle is?
Oh my God, he is. I'll tell you what, every time I watch the guy, I'm just more and more in awe of him.
He's gonna be big, I think. He's really good. Yeah, and like you were saying, the first half of the show, I didn't know any of the wrestlers and there was no stakes. And the second half of the show, honestly, I knew some of the wrestlers and there were still no stakes. So it's like, it was just, if you like pretty good work all the way through, like I don't think there was anything sloppy. There was nothing shitty. There's just a lot of people that it's hard to get involved in because I didn't know them. Then the people that I did know, they were WWE guys sort of on loan to Evolve to draw eyeballs. I mean, it was on the WWE network, so of course WWE is going to give them some people to juice the rating a little bit or juice the downloads or whatever. But there were no stakes for anything. Like Riddle and Gulak was awesome because it was just, they just worked so good that it pulled you into the story they were telling in the match. And then I think the same to a little bit of a lesser extent for Adam Cole and Tozawa too. Tozawa was like a long-term Evolve guy. It was cool to see him get sort of a main event spot on an Evolve show and be very emotional about it. That was really cool. And Adam Cole could have a 4-star match with a mop. So, I mean, it's great. It was great work. But there was nothing where I was on the edge of my seat. I was happy to watch it like on a lazy Sunday afternoon where it was like the perfect, it didn't blow my skirt up, but it didn't make me want to turn it off. I would say it was on par with Fight for the Fallen, maybe a little bit below because I knew more people on Fight for the Fallen.
It didn't blow your skirt up.
Yeah, I was wearing a skirt. It was weird.
Is that like an every Sunday thing or?
Yeah, kind of. Sometimes I just need to air everything out.
Like Mark Howie at the J11.
Wow, a joke that 2 people will get.
I couldn't let it go. So I mean, Heyman's emotional promo was great. But that's another thing that happened Saturday night that pissed me off. And just triggered me. Some asshole on Twitter wrote, Heyman is better than Jericho.
They were saying like better overall or just better talker.
What was the actual tweet? It was like Heyman. I don't know if they were talking about that promo or if they were talking about. Yeah,
Because if you would say talker or like better at selling a match, like Heyman, I mean, you can have an argument.
I don't know. Jericho's one of the best mic men of all time.
Yeah, but Heyman is also. I mean, he's literally that's his only attribute, and he's managed to stay around. And he's great at like he literally has to go out every month and sort of sell the same Brock Lesnar match and manages to do it. So I mean, he's good. He's very good. He's really good with words. He's really good at manipulating an audience.
Can we agree though that Heyman better than Jericho is a ridiculous tweet?
Yes, it is.
All right. Then the finale of the weekend, Extreme Rules, which wasn't very extreme.
From your backyard, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the Wells Fargo Center.
Yeah, and let me just start off by saying, fuck you, Corey Graves, for saying Philadelphia.
Oh, fuck you, Corey. I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, you Pittsburgh jerk off.
Corey was pretty funny on this broadcast.
Yeah, no, he was great.
Yeah.
He was great. He had a lot of really good lines, especially when he said Otis looked like Gritty.
Yeah, that was great. And when he said that breaking news, Byron Saxton still sleeps in the nightlight, I enjoyed that as well.
Because you're 40 years old and you sleep with a nightlight?
Yeah, that was funny.
that was great.
And the immediate, that's not true. That's not true from Saxton. Those two have the best chemistry of anybody, of the whole WWE announcing crew.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it wasn't. I guess it wasn't very extreme, was it?
No, it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Cesaro and Aleister Black was a good match.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know that there was really anything else of note.
I really enjoyed the Cesaro Aleister Black, and I enjoyed it. People were shitting on it or complaining it didn't get enough time, which, I can see the point, but I thought it was great as sort of a setup for what's going to be. They should get a rematch and should get more time, which will be great. I thought that. I mean, the one move where Cesaro caught him in midair and then launched him up and then uppercutted him was fucking maybe the most tremendous spot on the show.
Yeah,
that guy's upper body strength is outside this world.
Yeah, he's insane. He's so good. Every time you give him the chance, he delivers. Yep. I knew that match was going to be good because I think Aleister Black is stellar as well.
So do I.
But everything else on the show, the big, Strowman Lashley spot where he power slammed Lashley onto 7 mattresses.
Yeah. And people were reacting like it was so extreme.
Like he body slammed them onto a bed of nails.
See, they really fucked up there because like they had a great spot 2 weeks ago with the stage thing, which looked real and awesome. And if you're gonna do that, then you gotta find a way to top it, not make it. I mean, this spot last night was nowhere near as cool as that.
Well, no, especially not when Strowman walks out and you can like see the mattress.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that. I mean, you know what though? Like, yes, it was a shitty like final spot. It wasn't nearly as extreme as they would lead us to believe, but considering how much Bobby Lashley has sucked and how badly Strowman has been booked, that was a pretty solid effort, that match.
Yeah, I just hate it when the payoff to this whole thing that's been going on with the ruptured spleen and all that is into a box that's filled with mattresses and my pillows. And
I saw this on Twitter, and one of my favorite wrestling reviewer websites, TJRWrestling.net, the John Report it stands for. He's been reviewing wrestling forever. He said he thinks after this win over Lashley and Lesnar winning the title, this is when you push Strowman to the world title feud, which I don't.
Well, we'll see who wins the Battle Royal tonight.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't necessarily disagree.
So, but then again, we're 40-year-old men
Right.
who, it's questionable whether or not we should still be watching wrestling.
Certainly questionable.
Now, my 11-year-old son was jumping up and down, screaming, Lashley's dead, Lashley's dead.
And that's all WWE cares about right there.
So to him, it was magical and meant something. So, I mean, there's something there, I guess. But
so, yeah, and I'll agree with you that the rest of the show, I really was sort of let down by AJ and Ricochet. I thought that would be much better. I mean, it was still really good, 3-star level, but, those two were capable of much more. I was super, you either tweeted it or retweeted it. I was really hoping for the Finn Balor heel turn and having Finn join up with AJ and the Good Brothers. That would have been really cool.
That place would have come unglued.
Yeah, well, which would have been nice because for a Philly crowd, it was pretty fucking dead.
Yeah.
That crowd did not bring it at all. And it's a shame because, like, every review I've read of Extreme Rules has been the same. There was nothing 5-star or even really 4-star, but there's also nothing below 3. Like, it was solid all the way through, which I agree with.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that.
The only match I thought was really below 3 stars was the Bayley, Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss match, which I thought take 5 minutes off of that and give it to Cesaro and Aleister Black. That's what I would have done.
And then what do you think about the main event?
So this was the biggest surprise of the night for me. That I thought going into it, I was like, I don't care one lick about this main event. I don't give a fuck. And this thing was booked really well. Like, the match itself was what it was. Corbin is not a wizard. Lacey Evans is still pretty green. Corbin needs Rollins to carry him, and Lacey needs Becky to carry her, which they did. I mean, Rollins and Lynch certainly get A for effort. I would say it was like a 3-star match. I popped hard for when Corbin gave Becky the end of days. That was cool.
Oh, yeah, I jumped up off the couch.
Yeah, I didn't expect to see that. You almost never see a man doing a wrestling move to a woman in WWE, which hopefully that's a sign of things getting a little edgier, or maybe it's a sign of Heyman's influence. Certainly a sign of Heyman's influence was the Money in the Bank cash-in with Lesnar. As much as I fucking hated Lesnar's, it seemed like it was a 20-year title reign. I kind of think this was the right call. The Rollins title reign was not great. I mean, granted, he had to wrestle Baron Corbin for 2 months, so I don't know that it's necessarily nothing bad about WWE is Seth Rollins' fault. He's great. But I think this was the right call, and especially if Heyman's going to be running the ship on Raw, maybe if anybody can get Lesnar to show up more, it's probably Paul Heyman. But it's curious, and now I'm really curious what they set up for SummerSlam. Who's it going to be? Hopefully, it's not a retread. I don't necessarily want to see Rollins and Lesnar again. I don't want to see Reigns and Lesnar again. Reigns had the big win. I don't think I don't want to see Taker and Lesnar again. I'd love it to be somebody new.
So I know you were out, so I don't know if you saw this, but Heyman came out tonight and announced. Did you see this?
No, I didn't see it. I was out till we sat down to start recording.
Yeah, so we're recording this as Raw is airing, by the way, but Heyman came out and announced that tonight there's a 10-man battle royal to determine who the number 1 contender is.
Did you happen to see who the 10
Yes,
were?
he actually went through and threw a picture on the screen up of every person and said their name and said, will it be Brock Lesnar versus this person? Will it be Brock? So it was like...
Oh, wait, I got it right here. Okay. Heyman goes down the list of competitors. Seth Rollins, obviously. Randy Orton, Big E, Cesaro, Braun Strowman, Rey Mysterio, Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn, Bobby Lashley, and Roman Reigns.
So interesting that Kevin Owens isn't in there.
Well, unfortunately for you, it looks like he's going to be with Shane. They've set that up.
So, great.
How fucking dope would it be if it was Big E? There's no way it will be.
So I was going to say, like, the two people that'll pop me, and I don't know if it's happened yet, and I don't want to talk about it if it has because I'm going to watch it, but The two people that would pop me would be Big E or Strowman.
I agree. A little part of me would. This is going to sound ridiculous considering what all my opinions about WWE is and about retreads and all that. But I kind of wouldn't mind if it was Randy Orton either. Him and Lesnar have a history. Remember when Lesnar busted him open?
I was there. I was there. Yeah, I was there.
Also, I'd pop hard for Cesaro, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think him and Black are done.
I don't think so either, but I know Cesaro Lesnar was like a rumor a couple of years ago. And with Cesaro's strength, that would be something, man.
I'll tell you what, the crowd would get behind that.
I just don't, I mean, to me, Lesnar's a heel, right? I mean, he's kind of whatever you want him to be, but like, he's a heel. So for me, that eliminates Lashley is just a dial tone. Like, who cares? I don't think it'll be him.
No, dial tone.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about that guy. I don't think it'll be Baron Corbin. He's 2 main events is enough. I don't think it'll. God, I hope it's not Reigns or Rollins. That's so predictable. So that leaves Orton, Big E, Cesaro, Braun, Ray. Ray would be interesting. Like,
not interested.
You play up the. I mean, you could play up the David Goliath thing, but I'm probably not either. I have a feeling it's going to be Seth or Roman. Unfortunately, I mean, that seems like WWE booking 101. But who knows?
All right, Bill. So there's so much said out there about how negative and toxic of a place Twitter and Facebook and social media is. But, I've really found over the last month or so, as you and I are putting this podcast together and trying to get it out and into people's ear holes, that, that there is a very supportive and loving Twitter community out there. And it's really been a breath of fresh air during this whole journey. So we've actually, I reached out today and said, hey, we're recording tonight. Shoot me some questions. Ask us anything. And Bill and Frank will address it on the air.
Anything.
I was expecting some sick shit, but people were pretty tepid. So I think that's...
I want to know my sexual history. I will do that.
Nobody asked.
Oh.
So...
Nutley's probably so happy she's listening.
Yeah. She's like, oh. All right. So our first question comes from, this is a great name. So this is a podcast called The Idiots. Actually, you'd like this podcast. They talk about all 80 stuff. And they have like collectors and professors on there and stuff. It's pretty cool. They ask, regarding Far From Home, which we reviewed last episode, is it possible that the first post-credit scene is an illusion?
It's a good question, and it would have been a great question, like if we had gotten to it like 3 or 4 days ago. But Kevin Feige's comments have pretty much nixed that idea.
Yeah, so this was a question 4 days ago. So
yes, Feige came out. Somebody asked him about the movie this week, and he said they did it purely because the next Spider-Man movie, they want to tell a Peter Parker story that has not been told before, which is what happens when everybody knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So that would be cool if it were an illusion, but I don't think so.
Yeah, so that they asked that 4 days ago, so
I like where their head's at.
All right, Bill, our next question comes from the Unpaid Programming Podcast.
Just like us.
What's that?
Just like us.
That's correct.
Yeah.
They're out of Pittsburgh. And
the Steel City.
And their question is...
Hey, Frank.
Yeah?
Remember when we saw Pearl Jam in Pittsburgh?
Oh, my God.
We walked around forever trying to find something exciting about Pittsburgh and failed miserably.
Yes. We ended up like drinking in like a sandwich shop.
What a boring city.
Remember we asked for Black House and the guy looked at us like we were aliens?
Yeah.
What are Yin's guys' thoughts on WWE programming the Evolve 10th anniversary show to go up against Fight for the Fallen? And what do you think of Kenny Omega's comments on it? So this is regarding the whole counter programming against a show raising awareness for gun violence. We kind of touched on that earlier. Well, I kind of pushed away from it quick, but what are your feelings about it, Bill?
Well, first, I want to put out there, and you can defend yourself. You tweeted something very similar, which I was like, "That's bullshit," and it got me fired up, and it got us fired up at each other, which I wish we had recorded. But I think it's bullshit. Anybody angry at either company is bullshit. Like, Fight for the Fallen sold out, right? All the money they made, like, Evolve being on the same night didn't cost them a fucking dime. It didn't deprive anybody in the charity of a fucking dime. The show was fucking free. So it's not like the eyeballs that were watching Evolve were costing Fight for the Fallen pay-per-view money or anything. It was free. So, like, all the money they made off the tickets and all the money they made off merch at the show didn't get touched by Evolve. And secondly, I've now seen, and I was sort of Googling it as we were recording here. Evolve was planned first. So Cody and Kenny yelling about counter programming, they counter programmed. Like, WWE had plans to air this Evolve show like forever ago. I don't think either one made enough of an impact on the other for anybody to get their knickers in a twist about it.
I don't know whether or not what was planned first. Evolve certainly may have been planned first, but it definitely wasn't announced in promoed first.
That's probably fair.
So, this whole thing could just be like an unfortunate series of, events that led to a misunderstanding and a bad look. But I hear what you're saying about the money, but I do think on the surface, without digging any deeper, I would say it's not a good look for the WWE.
I just don't agree.
On the face of it.
I don't think it's
on the face of it.
Yeah.
But there's two sides to every story.
Yeah, I just don't think it's a big enough, like, it's not like they fucking put it, decided to move Extreme Rules to Saturday night. It's like, it's a minor league show. It's a nothing show. It really had, I just don't think it had I don't think it had any impact on Fight for the Fallen viewership wise. And I don't even think WWE was trying to do that. I don't think they were trying to take viewers from them. I really don't. I think that Evolve show was planned for a long time, and they decided to put it on the network.
So our next question, or a couple questions, comes from a guy named Adam McKay. And
wait.
No, not Anchorman Adam McKay.
Oh, that would have been so cool.
This comes from a Canadian gentleman. He has a podcast called The Laughter Life. And Bill, I want you to listen to this one.
Okay, listen.
No, I want you to listen to this podcast because
gotcha.
I find this guy to be, I've tweeted about it and it wasn't me like bullshitting, trying to get a follow back. Like, this guy murders me. He did an episode where he read used car ads and it was hysterical. Yeah, he's just got a very dark, opinionated look on the world, and he just talks about things that pop into his head. It's almost like, and I don't know if he'll get mad at me for saying this, but it's almost like just listening to the ramblings of a madman. It's one of my favorite podcasts right now. Anyway, so The Laughter Life asks, what movie should I take the babes to go see? Now, by babes, I think he means like women he's hoping to have relations with.
Relations of an intimate nature.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Crawl or Spider-Man?
Wow, great question. There are positives to both. Like Spider-Man, of course, has the romantic angle, which is certainly heavily played up. And, about as played up as a romantic angle is going to be in a superhero MCU movie. It's also got the 80s teen comedy feel. But I really, as much as I love Spider-Man, and it's my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time, I think I'm going to go with Crawl on this one because, I don't know, horror movies are like good date movies and sort of the movie world's aphrodisiac, I think.
Yeah, so I think to me it all depends what you're going for, right? Like, do you want the like, oh, I'm scared, so I'm gonna like tuck and cuddle kind of thing? Or if you're more going for like a put your dick in the popcorn situation, I think
Mhm.
in that case Spider-Man might be better.
Yeah. If you guys say this guy's sort of ramblings of a madman, then maybe he's looking for the dick in the popcorn thing. I don't know.
Well,
But
this guy might put his dick in the popcorn for Crawl. I don't know.
Crawl looks interesting. It looks like a movie I'd want to see with a crowd.
I'm too scared to see it.
It's about a big alligator.
Exactly. My least favorite thing on the planet.
Those alligators are put on Earth to do evil.
All right, the next question from The Laughter Life. All at the top of their game, Bill. Who wins in a fatal four-way? The Hitman, Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels, or Daniel Bryan?
Holy shit. I mean, you can make an argument they're the four best workers ever. um,
Remember, this guy's Canadian, so
right. So, I'm gonna try to take my personal bias. I'm already mentioned on this podcast that Jericho is my favorite of all time. But at the top of their game, it's very difficult for me not to say Shawn Michaels. I think he's, in terms of longevity and having literally almost two distinct careers where he was at the top of the game in both. He's probably, I think I would say Shawn Michaels. I think he's the greatest, still the greatest worker of all time. By the time Daniel Bryan's done, could be different. And he just had so much more of a peak work rate career than Brett did. I know this, if this guy's Canadian, he's probably a Brett fan. But because of injury and Goldberg kicking his head in and the screw job and all that stuff, Brett didn't have anywhere near as long a run as Shawn did. Shawn was in his 40s when he did those WrestleMania matches with The Undertaker, which are still, for my money, the first one is about the best match of all time. So I go Shawn.
I hate to agree with you, but I think I'm with you.
Yeah.
I like this question. I think you'll like this one. Who's the worst wrestler ever to be great in TV or film?
Who's this come from? Is this the same guy?
Same guy.
Worst wrestler ever to be great in TV or film. That is an interesting phrasing of a question. Probably Roddy Piper.
It's so funny you say that.
Why?
Because somebody responded with a gif of Roddy Piper.
Yeah, I mean, because Piper is like, you can make an argument that Piper was a worse worker in the ring than like.
Oh, he was shit in the ring, yeah.
Than Hogan. Like he had less than Hogan, which is almost impossible. But was great, like so great in like They Live, and he has the classic, I came here to kick ass and chew gum, and what's the line?
I came here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
Yeah, that's what it is. I that's the one that comes to my mind immediately. Hogan was bad in the ring, work rate wise, but he was also terrible in movies. Like there's not a lot of wrestlers that have who's a really good candidate for this? Batista.
Batista was a good wrestler though.
Pretty good. Like he wasn't. I mean, are there any Batista matches that are like in the top 100 of all time? No.
But I mean,
there's not a lot of. There's just not a lot of. He's a power guy. He's a big hulking power move. Like he had some good matches. He had some really good stuff with Ray. He had some good stuff with Eddie. But I mean, that's on Ray and Eddie mostly. But I mean, I think he was an average to slightly above average worker, and he's looking like he's a legit actor, even above and beyond Drax. He's good. I want to see Stuber. He looks hilarious in it.
I really want to see Stuber.
Yeah, but he's managed to carve out, like, this guy is in movies that are not just popcorn. They're like artsy, like Blade Runner 2049, and he's in Dune, which is coming up, which is pretty amazing. He's in Zack Snyder's next movie. Guy's legit.
I just don't think he qualifies for worst wrestler ever. But
he's not a great. I mean, he's really not. He's not a great wrestler. He's not terrible. He's not great.
He was top guy for a while, though.
So was Hogan.
Now, Bill, this was another one from Laughter Life.
Okay.
Guy's got a lot of questions.
Dude spent some time.
He's like my 5-year-old daughter. What are your thoughts on the upcoming films Dr. Sleep and Ghostbusters 2020?
Oh, God. Laughter Life. Solid question. Okay, I'll take Ghostbusters first. Number one, anything they can do to redeem the Ghostbusters reboot would be welcome. And I'm not saying that because I don't think women Ghostbusters is a fine idea and a fine concept for a movie. I'm not upset that they tried to do that. I'm upset that it was executed so ungodly bad. It was just a bad movie. And I feel like Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson are embarrassed to have cameoed in it. It was just I mean, for how many talented people are in that movie, it is shit. And Ghostbusters, that is a holy grail movie. The first, the original Ghostbusters is still one of my favorite comedies of all time, top 5. So if anybody's going to try to continue that story, I think that it makes sense that it's, Jason Reitman is directing this. Ivan Reitman directed the first one. They're keeping it in the family. They have apparently got everybody from the original cast that is still alive. So pretty much everybody except Harold Ramis. And Rick Moranis just won't come out of retirement. But other than those two, they have everybody coming back. I'm confident that, Dan Aykroyd is involved in the scripting, which is great. He and Ramis wrote the original. I'm really excited for this. Like, I'm a big fan. A lot of people are really on Hollywood for being reboot crazy. And I get it. There are some things that either shouldn't be rebooted or don't deserve to be rebooted. Like, they weren't good enough in the first place to have a reboot or continued or whatever. But continuing sagas has become like the flavor of the month. And when they're done well, they're really good. And I think that the crew behind this is going to, if there's anybody that can do this, I think it's these guys. I'm curious to see what kind of story they come up with. I think Jason Reitman will treat, obviously, his father's baby with the utmost respect. I feel like if Murray actually signed on to do it, then it's probably pretty good. So I'm excited about it. How do you feel about that?
Of course, I'm a huge fan of both Ghostbusters 1 and 2.
Me too.
I'm with you on the last one. All of the actresses that were in that movie are all super talented and hysterical people.
Yeah.
Kate McKinnon
is awesome.
She's a insane person.
Yeah.
Who wrote it?
That's a great question. I don't know. I know Paul Feig directed it. The guy, he did Bridesmaids and
yeah. The movie just sucked.
Yeah.
The story sucked. It really wasn't a Ghostbusters movie.
Mm-mm.
It was, I don't know. My daughter watched it and fell in love with Kate McKinnon, which is easy to do. She's probably the best thing about that movie.
Yeah, Paul Feig wrote it also.
Yeah. So it makes me sad that Harold Ramis isn't around to be part of this. It makes me sad that Rick Moranis won't come back, but there's still plenty of time. Maybe he will.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's all work and maybe he's,
yeah, true.
Just to shock people. My concern is, has it been too long? And is this going to be another Dumb and Dumber 2 situation?
Yeah, you would hope not. That's the fear. For as many, I would say the track record on these things, whether it's a continuation on TV or a continuation in the movies, is kind of 50-50. Like some work and some don't. And it really depends on the story. Dumb and Dumber was just not funny. It just wasn't a funny story. I thought like it had been so long since Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels had played those characters that they sort of were playing. They were almost doing imitations of themselves. It didn't feel right. I don't get the sense that I don't feel like Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson and Sigourney Weaver and Annie Potts and all the people that got back for this movie will be doing that. I do think, if anybody's going to do it right, it's going to be this group with the Reitmans being involved. Just say, you hope for the best with it.
Dr. Sleep.
Oh, I can't tell you how fucking exciting the trailer for this movie is.
So who's making this movie? Who's behind it?
In terms of being behind it, it's I believe it's Mike Flanagan. So Mike Flanagan is directing it. He's got a history with Stephen King already. He directed Gerald's Game on Netflix, which was super underrated, with this super always hot Carla Gugino. And then he also directed, he was part of The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix, which was awesome. And then the Dr. Sleep book kind of got shit on by a lot of people. Like people
really liked it.
I loved it. I thought it was fucking awesome. I love seeing old Danny, like what happened to to the young kid from The Shining. Okay, essentially this story is what happened to the young kid from The Shining after that traumatic experience. How did he learn to live with his powers? And what's really sort of tragic and sad about it is he ends up sort of falling, as the movie starts, you realize he fell into a lot of the same traps that his father did. He battles alcoholism. And just to give a little background, the reason he's called Dr. Sleep is because he uses his shining power. He works in a nursing home, and he uses his shining power to help people transition from being alive to whatever comes next. They go to sleep with him there to help ease their passage into the afterlife. So they call him Dr. Sleep. And anyway, this book centers around older Danny meets a young girl who has the shining as well, except much more powerfully than he does. And it turns out there's a group of people that hunt people that have the shine and suck their power out of them. And that's essentially nuts and bolts the story of it. Danny ends up having to go back to the Overlook in Colorado, which is amazing. And then how lovingly in that trailer that it was recreated just gave me goosebumps. Like they recreated Stanley Kubrick's sets from the Shining movie down to the studs. It looks amazing. The fact that they got Ewan McGregor to be the lead on this is tremendous. I'm really excited about it. I think it's a good director to get his chance at his first real chance at a big budget, big release movie. So it's I'm really pumped for it. I think it has a chance to be like a really sort of sleeper hit.
All right. Well, this next one comes from across the pond, Bill.
Across the pond. Are we talking about our brethren in the United Kingdom?
Yes.
Excellent.
Hello.
Hello.
Over here.
Hello, on Z.
What the fuck was that?
I farted.
Oh. Unapologetically?
No, I don't care.
Did you lean?
Yeah, I definitely leaned. But I mean, we've been going for 72 minutes. I don't really go that long without farting. Think I'm going to hide it for these people? No way.
Okay. So they have an English wrestling question for us, whatever this means, because neither of these individuals are English, I believe. I think they're fucking with us, though.
Maybe. Sounds like it.
Who was the best? Haystacks Calhoun or Big Daddy?
No idea. I can't answer that question.
I'm going to go with, he says Giant Haystacks, which I'm guessing is Haystacks Calhoun, but I'm going to go with Haystacks Calhoun because my dad used to love him when he was a kid. So we'll go there.
That sounds like a great answer to me. I think they're messing with us.
So the Shart Select podcast, also coming to us from across the pond, asks us one of our classic questions then. Sonic, Mario, or Crash Bandicoot?
You answer that first.
Grapefruit, kill, kiss. So I'm guessing grapefruit means fuck.
Okay. Wait, isn't one of them supposed to be marry?
This is grapefruit.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, right off the bat, I know I'm going to kill Crash Bandicoot because he sucks.
You're going to kill Crash Bandicoot?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to not... I might have to kill... Like, kissing or fucking Mario would be like kissing or fucking one of my uncles.
Okay.
This is hard.
Yeah, well, I mean, all three of these characters are male. I mean, that's not great for either one of us.
It's true.
Be great for your brother.
You know, I'm gonna I'm gonna pass on this question.
What a pussy answer.
Okay, no, I won't pass. Let's see. I'm gonna say I'm gonna kill Sonic because I think he's got too many shitty games. I'm gonna kiss Crash Bandicoot, and I'm gonna grapefruit Mario because he's the best.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same except reverse Sonic and Crash.
I just farted.
You just farted?
Yeah,
Did you lean?
I did lean.
Good.
Okay, and the last question we have, this is a good one. This is easy.
British
From,
people are weird.
What's that?
British people are weird. What a weird question.
Hello. This comes from House of Snark,
I love snark.
and they ask, do you say the word John?
Do you? Well, I do.
Yeah, I do all the time.
We're
But
from
still.
Philly. It's a thing.
Yeah, I went through a phase. I went through a phase in middle school where every other word was John.
Why don't we explain for the 32 other states that listen to us that aren't Pennsylvania and the 15 countries or whatever it was, what a John is?
A John can be anything.
Right. A John is literally anything.
Hand me that John.
You see that, John?
Let me get a piece of that John.
It's up in my girlfriend's John.
My girlfriend's John.
John can be anything. It's a noun, it's a verb, it's an adjective, it's everything.
Get that John out of my ass.
And then you can dive into the world of Johnny Johns.
Oh.
Where you got the double. But let's not
Yeah.
I don't want to
No, I don't want to get there. All right, so that's questions from Twitter. So thanks everybody for sending them in. Keep them coming. That was fun. All right, Bill. So once again, we are heinously over time. So I'm going to take us out here. Before we go, just a couple people I want to say thank you to. Mentioned them earlier in the podcast. The guys over at Talkomania. If you want to hear two Canadian dudes talking wrestling without any pretension or without anybody in their pocket, go check them out. One of my go-to wrestling podcasts right now. I can't put over the Laughter Life podcast enough. If you're the kind of person that's going to get up in disgust and walk out of the Book of Mormon, probably not for you. But if you like darker, more edgier, controversial comedy, definitely check it out. You won't be disappointed. I want to say, give a shout out to Kylex Plays, who's less of a podcaster, more of a YouTuber. Kylex and I are going to be, we're trying to work together right now to put something together on his YouTube channel. So Looking forward to that. Super nice guy, really cool channel. He's got a great show called Just Talking To. So it's worth your time. Go check it out. The Movie Drone podcast. Thank you guys. I know you gave us a shout out in one of your episodes, and just appreciate it. Wanted to repay the favor. Go check these guys out. They got a really good show over there. And the Never a Straight Answer podcast. Also, most of these guys are either from Canada or the UK, but all good shows, all worth your time. Go listen to them, subscribe, rate, review, show them some love. They show everybody else a lot of love too, so they deserve to have it replayed. Bill, next week, what are we going to be talking about?
Next week is very special. So a few weeks ago, we had our first ever guest, which was the Spider-Man guru, John Beaver. We will have our second special guest this coming week. He is none other than Dr. Tony Ortega, who is one of my favorite people on earth. He is the coolest dude in the world. We might talk about it next week, but Tony and I have a really great meet cute. We were both attendees of a Comic-Con in DC. He was living in New York at the time. I was living in Connecticut. We were both waiting for our train after the con at a Pizzeria Uno in DC's Union Station.
Where all great things happen.
We struck up a conversation. That was like 15 years ago. And we've maintained the friendship. He's super supportive of us. He is right now in the midst of a Kickstarter campaign to fund his own comic book. It's an LGBTQ friendly superhero team called the Accords. It's got a healthy dose of mysticism involved as well. It seems like a really cool story. Tony's a really cool guy. So he's also a big time comic fan, huge fan of mutants, and in particular Jean Grey Phoenix, which I'm sure he'll bring up. But we're going to talk to him about his comic book, about how you can help him get this thing funded. It's a worthwhile endeavor. I've donated. Frank's donated. Tony's the man. And he's also going to help us react to this coming Saturday's Marvel Comic-Con Hall H presentation, where we will learn from Kevin Feige and some surprise panelists what exactly the shape of Phase 4 looks like. And it looks like early indications are Phase 4 is going to be a little different, not only because Marvel's going to split and have a cosmic element and an earthbound element, but Phase 4 is also going to apparently encompass the Disney Plus app. So the TV shows will factor into it. As of now, we know there's going to be a Loki TV show. We know there's going to be Winter Soldier and Falcon TV show. We know there's going to be a WandaVision TV show. And there's a rumored Jeremy Renner Hawkeye miniseries, which I don't think has been officially announced yet. But all those will not be independent. So they'll be part of the MCU, and they're going to start experimenting with bouncing back and forth from TV streaming to the movies. So that should be really interesting to see what kind of shape Phase 4. I'm sure there'll be some surprises, maybe even some movies we didn't see coming. Certainly, I think you would almost expect a casting announcement or two. The last time they were in Hall H was when they, out of nowhere, introduced Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. I'm expecting something along those lines. Marvel's always got something up their sleeve. So big news week next week, and to have Tony here to help us react to that and break it down. I mean, all the people out there listening, you're going to love this guy. He's hilarious. He's got an extremely wicked sense of humor. I can't wait for him to be on with us. So that's going to be great.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be an awesome show. So a couple more things, a couple more house cleaning items before we leave. Shoot us an email for any reason whatsoever at eatpopculture@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at BF Eatpopculture. Follow us on Instagram at BF Eatpopculture. go over to our website, baggedboardedandboxed.com. We got some fun stuff over there. The aforementioned Johnny Beaver just posted something today, which, as Bill would say, blew my skirt up. He did a deep dive kind of vlog review of the original Clone Saga Spider-Man story, and it's really good. It's really in depth. You will get educated. Johnny looks at comics different than most people and doesn't miss a thing. Well worth your time. So go check it out. And that's it, Bill. So go sleep off these alcoholic drinks you've shoved down your gullet, and I'll talk to you next week.
All right, man.
Be well.
Be well.